Hi there, my name's Ian. Hi, I'm a chef here in Minneapolis, and I'm going to show you how to make a roasted oyster mushroom strata with AcreMade eggs. We've already made the egg batter here, which is just the dry egg powder with a little bit of water and soy milk. And now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. This is just dino kale that's blanched in salted water. And because it's like long and skinny pieces here, we're just going to do a rough chop so that it looks and eats a lot better. So I chose kale because this is my favorite green. You could use any green like spinach, collard greens, chard, broccoli even, blanched in the same way and added to make a really delicious strata. All right, to this we're gonna add our roasted mushrooms and roasted onions. I chose oyster mushrooms because they're my favorite mushrooms roasted and they add a lot of umami. These mushrooms are so awesome when they're crispy and tossed in a little bit of oil. So we're gonna leave them in here like this for a lot of texture as well. All right, and then everybody in the pool, we're just gonna add all of our ingredients to the same bowl and incorporate that together. These onions, I'm gonna save a few really nice ones to garnish the top of the strata. It'll add some character and some personality. But these middle ones here, I'm actually gonna break them up a little bit so that we get some dispersion throughout our strata. Another key ingredient to a really well-made strata is good bread choice. Here, Minneapolis is known as the Mill City because we make such great flours grown locally. And there's some really great bakeries making sourdough. So I chose a really good local sourdough with whole wheat. And we're gonna use this to add a lot of depth to the mushroom strata. Okay, so to build flavor, we're gonna season our ingredients. These have all been seasoned in their own steps, but just to get things all coming together, I'm adding just a little bit more here. And now the bread is coming in. So we're just mixing everything together, getting it really well mixed up and dispersed so that every bite you get a little bit of everything. Okay, so to the casserole dish, we have it lined with parchment paper. That makes it a lot easier to take out, a lot more presentable, and it's easier to cut. These tend to stick to some pans, so this way will give you a lot cleaner look in the final presentation. Again, when I add this to the pan, I want to make sure it's really nice and even. Try to keep my ingredients as spread out evenly as possible. And we're gonna fill this pan most of the way. There's a lot of other things you can put in here. Like I said, you could do spinach or another green, but you could also do some sausage, cheese, vegan or real cheese and meat. Roasted red peppers would be a great addition to here as well. Okay, here comes the star of the show, the AcreMade egg. Just gonna add this right over the top, and then I'll kind of sort of fluff up the other ingredients with, you could use a spoon or tongs or whatever you use. This is a step that can happen the night before, and then you could put this into the oven the morning of, right before baking. Okay, now last step here is we're just gonna garnish it with some of these beautiful roasted vegetables. We're gonna put them whole like this. And once we get those mushrooms and onions in place, our strata is ready for the oven. So the next step here is to go into a 325 oven for 40 minutes until an internal thermometer reads 180 degrees. Okay, with the mashed garlic, we're gonna add some lemon juice, Dijon mustard with water, and our AcreMade egg. The benefit of making this vegan aioli is that you don't have to separate the egg yolks from the whites, which limits cross-contamination in the kitchen. Okay, so I like to use an immersion blender for this. If you're doing a bigger batch, you could use a Cuisinart or a RoboCoupe. But for this demonstration, we're just gonna use something nice and small so you can see how well this emulsifies. So the garlic goes in, then we're gonna add some Dijon mustard. Lemon juice. And then water and the AcreMade egg. And for the oil in this aioli, we're gonna do a blend of canola and olive oil, 3 parts canola to 1 part olive oil. And we're gonna slowly incorporate it, just like we would with an aioli, into our base that we had mixed together earlier. As we're doing this, we're gonna add a little salt as we go. Season that olive oil. There you have the AcreMade aioli. All right, to our aioli, we're gonna add some parsley, tarragon, and chives. We're just gonna do a quick rough chop before we blend it in to the rest of our ingredients. Now that we've kind of chopped it up a little bit, we're gonna add it to our aioli here. First, we're gonna add a tablespoon of our capers. These are just the capers in brine. If you were to use the salted capers, make sure to rinse them really well with hot water, pat them dry before you add them. I'm just gonna add a little bit more lemon juice to balance out that flavor, that richness that we added with the oil. And we're gonna incorporate everything together here for our final AcreMade aioli. Okay, so now we're gonna make the salad to go on the side of the mushroom strata. I like to do persimmon, which is a sweeter fruit, kind of similar to a tomato, the way it looks, but it tastes totally different. We're gonna mix the persimmon with a really bitter radicchio salad, green, and toss it with our AcreMade aioli. Okay, so adding to the persimmon, we've got this really beautiful radicchio lettuce. This is a bitter green. You see this a lot at this time of year because it is in season now. Get some different colors, different textures. Season our salad. And here's our aioli. We're not gonna be shy with this because it's really delicious. And it's a good creamy texture that's gonna offset a lot of the flavors that we mixed into our strata. We're gonna bring this together as sort of a Caesar salad component. Okay, now that we have that set aside and ready to go, we can get to the star of the show, our mushroom strata. Now we can see why we do the parchment on the side. We can get a nice square strata. Very easy to take out of the pan. So I'm gonna make a cut here. We'll probably just go right down the middle first. So this salad, we're gonna try and make some room on this plate here and just kind of have it spilling off. This sweet and bitter will add a nice complement to the flavors that we built in the strata. Last little flourish we're gonna add to the plate are these beet pickled shallots. So these are really beautiful, almost petal-like, flower petal-like garnishes that you can add to a lot of your dishes. The brine is really easy. It's just vinegar, sugar, and water, blended in a blender with a raw beet. Once you bring that up to a boil, you can just pour it over your pickles, whatever you're doing, and it's gonna get a really beautiful, vibrant color to the plate.